It is 5 and 10, is that correct?
I was told.
7 and 7, okay.
Well, Gura Margaret, Cion Corlia, August Bawalium, Tairiscint, Sinn Féin Mulu, Dundal. Minister Ringley said a few times in his contribution, if Sinn Féin are genuine about it, and he repeated that a number of times. Let me tell you, Minister, Sinn Féin this time is responsible in the North for steering the education system through the most progressive, deep-rooted and radical reform of education since partition, under huge opposition from Conservative elements. First under Mark McGuinness, then Katrina Ruan, and now under John O'Dowd. The positive impact of that reform is evident in the greatly improved and improving proportion of students achieving 5 GCSEs at grades A* to C. For boys, the increase over 10 years has been 24%. For girls, the increase has been 17%. The education budget has also significantly increased, as have the numbers of school building projects that are underway. Last year, the school budgets increased by 20% to £1.1 billion. The Irish medium sector is the fastest growing sector in the North, with almost 3,000 students in 39 schools. And more money has been invested in integrated education under Sinn Féin than at any time. And during the Stormont House talks recently there, we managed to secure for education over 10 years, £500,000. So all of these, 500 million Gummalesco, all of these positive achievements are evidence. What, Cara? Well, Cion Corlia, that was what the government here was proposing along with the Tories, but we stood up to them and we ensured that we got that 500 million over 10 years. And that's what's possible when there's political will. That's what's possible when you have that's what's possible when there's a vision and a strategy and people with a commitment to make these things happen. And that's what's desperately needed here, Cion Corlia, in this state and in this government at this time. When I raised this issue with the Taoiseach this morning, he acknowledged that teachers are professionals. That means they're the specialists. They know about the job, the career, the vocation that they have. It's aids in the Cyrenigh, a caiith na blianta fada faoi Ullins, Conabay and a Munchery, because a caiith nís mo blianta fós, a Kenya ha taka, Lochwara, Educasul. And yet, the Taoiseach and the Minister have drawn a line and refused to listen to teachers' genuine concerns about being forced to assess 40% of their own students' junior cycle for certification purposes. And they've reiterated, there's no doubt about this, their support for a first-class junior certificate for all students. They've given their support for a move away from the reliance on final written examinations and the promotion of different types of assessment, including more practical project and portfolio work. And yet, and I don't understand this, because the broad thrust of these reforms are progressive and we support them. But why stop short? Why put the whole thing in jeopardy with a demand that the teaching unions sign up to this assessment proposition? Because that's effectively imposing a veto over the negotiations. And that's not the way to resolve this very important issue. I'm sure the teachers don't want to strike. They know that's going to disrupt almost 330,000 students, 30,000 teachers, and of course the families of the students and their own families as well. So, if implemented and properly resourced, the reform, including a proper assessment, can greatly enhance the school curriculum and the learning experience of students. They haven't been matched by funding. I know the Minister has dismissed this notion about funding, and the Senior Minister has talked about coming back from cuts. Please don't talk to us about coming back from cuts, given what you have imposed, on all the public services since you come into a government. Teachers aren't given the necessary supports. They're not given the ongoing professional development and whole school in service. And if that doesn't happen, then we're creating the potential for future difficulties. So, the Government has talked about the need to listen to the stakeholders, has warned against any one party having a veto, unless it's the government, and has brought about, I think, the conditions where this strike is going to happen tomorrow. Our view of the assessment, and I've said this repeatedly, of students' exams is that it should be impartial, should be external, should be fair, and should be standardised. I still don't understand, because as I said this morning, you're going to end up in negotiations again. That was reiterated a moment or two ago. So what we want is agreement. We don't want confrontation. You know, the ministers, the government needs to be problem solvers. That's your job, to solve problems. But a solution is only possible if you get into partnership with the teaching profession, as opposed to this digging a hole and then not engaging properly or meaningfully. And as I said again this morning, you're going to be in talks maybe on Friday, you might be in talks next Monday. Why not in talks now? You need to make a real effort to sort this out and let the teachers get back to doing what they do best, teaching our children, and give them the support and the resources and the capacity to do that.